Small is the new big. Now, before you start laughing on that sentence, especially considering how cars have gotten bigger and wider with every launch that they've had, this seems a bit absurd. But that is what this latest SUV means for the Volvo brand. I'm Yash, you're watching the Cornea impression, and this is the Volvo EX30, Volvo's smallest SUV yet, the fastest accelerating Volvo yet, and the one that is being the most kindest to the environment in its build process. Now, to clear out some misconceptions, this isn't the replacement for the EX40. You can still have that car in petrol or hybrid variants, or even all electric ones. But this is Volvo's smallest entry-level SUV that you can buy. And from the looks of it, it is designed for the more youthful target market. And the youth will probably enjoy the EX30 a lot more because of its small size, so it's easier to maneuver around city, and the performance trim of it having a 0 to 100 sprint time of about 3.4 seconds. That's lightning quick. This entire car, or rather the build structure and how it's been produced, the materials used, they are all very eco-friendly. The aluminium, the steel, the plastics inside, they've all been recycled in the manufacturing production process. So Volvo hasn't been giving a hard time to the environment while making this EX30. In the past, Volvo's design language has been synonymous with terms boxy and edgy, but one look at the EX30, it was hard for me to find something boxy or edgy across the car, because every single corner that you see has been rounded off very well. From the front, it looks like a cute pebble that has been watered down because it was sitting inside the river bed. I think it will appeal to the youthful crowd really well. And then on the sides, there's not much going on, but the entire roofline has been tapered down. Now that kind of looks cool because everybody likes a coupe SUV nowadays, and Volvo has tried pretty hard to retain, or rather get some of that coupe SUV flavor in their entry-level SUV. On the rear end of things, you can see Volvo has given a modern reinterpretation of its famous Christmas tree taillight design, but with slatted inserts. And you can see that this Christmas tree taillight is finally been broken off. So the lower end gets a good squared off design element at the back, which kind of makes it look complete, kind of makes it look cool for the youthful crowd. And of course, you can't miss the Volvo badging at the back. Now, before we step into the cabin, there's two things I want to show you. First, there's that rimless side view mirror, looks classy, and then the door. Now, I'll give you a second to look around at it and then you can see there's no buttons whatsoever throughout the door. The only thing that you can pull or touch or operate is that door lever, which made of metal, kind of feels very, very premium. Everything you see here is made from recycled plastic, and there's a big storage compartment here. Volvo has made this door button free only because this helps Volvo keep their costs down in manufacturing, and that keeps the overall cost of the car down. Stepping inside the cabin of the EX30 smells like a breath of fresh air because this is all new. Yes, you do get the typical Volvo portrait infotainment screen in the middle that hogs majority of the dashboard, but there's one crucial thing missing here. The instrument cluster. There's no speedometer here because that has been switched over to the infotainment screen. So the top half of the infotainment screen is where you have your gear lever indicators, your other signs that your speedometer is supposed to have. Because apparently Volvo conducted a research where it said that your eyes focus or fixate better on the screens here than in front of your eyes. Now, we'll only be able to verify that once we get to drive this thing. But apart from that, The design is something the youthful people would truly like, because there's a sense of honesty to the materials, to the layout of the design. They've not tried to go very luxury. You can't see contrast stitching anywhere. It's just all simple, plain, elegant. Sense of honesty can be seen reflected on these dashboard materials here. It's just made from recycled composite plastic, and then the leather here, it's not the most luxurious leather, but hey, it doesn't feel cheap at all. And there's one more thing that was missing from the doors: the speakers. That can be found laying on top of the dashboard. The entire soundbar is there, so that is smart compact packaging from Volvo. The steering wheel is a square-ish design. You have your gear levers here. There's practically nothing in the center console here, because that is all reserved for storage spaces. You have wireless charging here, a couple of extra wiring charges when you open this compartment. This goes inside if you don't want your cup holders, and everything else about the car can be only controlled via this touchscreen here. You get panoramic sunroof over here, and there are almost 4 trims for which the customers can choose from, ranging from, having recycled denim fabrics on the dashboard or the seats, and these carpet made from recycled plastic bottles. There's just too much sustainability going on, which will appeal to the youth crowd, or at least will definitely appeal to Greta Thunberg. The no button affair continues on the rear doors as well, because the controls for these windows can be found here. There's a good parcel tray that can be separated from the center console, maybe to give it to your kids because you don't want your car littered. Good touch from Volvo. The seats itself are quite nice, but they're quite a little upright, and because the roofline has been tapered off to give you that coupe SUV feeling, people above 6 feet might just push their heads up to the roof. Now, because this is an all-electric car, which means the absence of a transmission tunnel is there, the third person can actually sit properly between these two. One size fits all. That's not an approach Volvo decided to take for the EX30, because in terms of powertrains and battery options, you have a couple of options. So if you just want your EX30 to be used for city commutes, there's a single motor rear wheel drive option that is good for about 300 kilometers of range and about 280 horsepower. If you want to take your EX30 to the countryside or go for longer trips, there's an extended version as well with all-wheel drive and 2 motors that gives you about 450 kilometers of range. And if you want performance, the one that I was talking about with a 0 to 100 sprint time of 3.4 seconds, then you have that same all-wheel drive performance variant with 2 motors, but there you have to compromise a little on the range with about 380 kilometers of range. Now, this car will be available from 2024, and from the looks of it, it is a brilliant product from Volvo, because everything that you see here is very sustainable centric, enjoys a very compact packaging. It's just whatever you need is there, and whatever extra you don't, they've just not bothered with it. But as a looker, as a product, as a family car, the EX30 will certainly turn heads and may even make small things great again.